In today's video, we're going to be tackling the headliner in this truck. It's pretty rough. It's falling apart. There's dust everywhere, but the main foam piece is not broken. The interior on this truck's actually in really good shape, except for the headliner. I pulled all the fabric down because it was hanging down, and this foam, just when you touch it, it just snows, rains down. So it's not broken. It's just old and gross. I'm gonna do my best to pull all this trim and try to get it out in one piece so we can recover it. I have fabric for it. I guess my mirror's missing. So we're gonna remove this. I really don't want this here because I have no use for it, but I'm gonna kind of have to see what is under here and if we can make the dome light work. So we're just kind of take everything apart and evaluate what we have. But I really can't stand this nasty foam, and this stuff flaps in the wind when you drive, and it really makes a dusty mess. So if you have one of these old trucks or any old vehicle, you know the pain. So we're gonna try to get it out and put some cool new fabric on it, and then I'll feel a lot better about riding in here. All right, I'll set the camera up and we'll see if I can do this without breaking anything. All that's left now, we're gonna pull this beautiful trim off here and try to remove this, cut some wires, and see what we're left with. I'm doing my best to stay organized here while I'm doing this. I'm using my Jeep hood as a kind of a workspace, and I'm marking on each one of these on the back side. They're white, so it's easy to see. Writing driver or passenger rear, whatever, and trying to keep some of the screws I just put in the little cup, but the rest of them I'm putting with the pieces. So that's, some of them are obvious, some of them are not. So I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible, because like I said, I'm not the greatest at interior stuff, and I definitely don't enjoy it. So if I can make it any easier on myself, that's going to be a big help. So this is the rear one. Some of them look almost the same, but have slightly different bends or screw locations. And I gotta tell you, this is disgusting. I should probably be wearing a respirator. We're getting there. They really don't want to come out. Okay, nothing's left to take out other than get this thing to drop down. I just left the bulb in here because I'm not gonna have to remove that. It's just gonna, it might even help me. It'll hold it a little bit. You just turn it sideways and the hole in the headliner is plenty big enough to slide that through. The only thing holding it now is it's like pressed super tight against the edges. So I've got a putty knife. I really don't want to break this, so I've got a putty knife. I'm gonna try to just kind of work all the edges loose and get it to drop down. I might have to get Andrea or somebody to come in here and help hold it, because if one end drops and the other's still stuck, it could break the corners off. So I'm gonna kind of start in the corners and work my way around. The front seems to be the most loose, so I'll probably start on the corners that are still stuck, and we'll go from there. Okay, it looks like it's stuck in the back. So I'm gonna go get a helper to hold the front while I pop the back loose, or I think it is gonna break. We don't want that. Hopefully I can get out without having it fall. All right, we have Saul here. Say hi, Saul.
Hi.
He's helping me support the front because I see it's kind of hinging. It's stuck in this back corner, and he's gonna help me support it. This thing doesn't weigh much, does it, Saul? but it's like glued back here. It's not glued, but it's just from time. It's stuck. Oop, there, it's starting to come. Just keep holding up there, dude. Whoa, camera's falling down. We're gaining on it. It's pulling away, little by little. It's stuck where these trim boards were squishing up against the top. That I need like a hook up in there. That's a good idea. I'm gonna use this hook and poke it up through these screw holes and just put a little pressure down. We got it. Nope, don't let go. Slide it up on the dash there. That'll support it. Okay. All right, you can sneak out of there. I got it from here. Thank you. Wow, that's what my paint should have looked like at one time. Interesting. Coo. Okay, now, since this is a crew cab, which I love crew cabs, but this thing's huge and we gotta try to snake it out one of the doors without breaking it into a million pieces. And I'm really hot. Can't breathe. So, I'm gonna try to get out of here without breaking this. And then I might get my wife, she's got longer arms, and try to tag team, get this out of the door opening. Here's where we're at. It's just sitting in here. From what I saw online, you can turn it, lay it down, and snake it out the passenger door. This is not what I wanted to do. I did some Googling, and we looked more and more, and I determined that I could not do that out the door without breaking it. And I'm not really in the mood to remove all the seats, so we're gonna try to pull the back window out, and then it'll just slide right out. Hopefully. Should fit. Yeah, I think it's smaller than the window. I watched the glass guy put my windshield in. Doesn't look that hard. This has a locking ring. The seal is still pretty pliable. It's hot out today. So I'm gonna lube this all up and see if we can get it out. Hopefully without breaking the window. Or this headliner is gonna turn into a real expensive job. So it looks like if this doesn't rip, so that locking ring keeps this from folding over like that. So I think if I get this lubed up under there, we can just slide the window out, hopefully. I have my lovely assistant out here. You may know her from the Steheischer escapades, formerly known as
Wife scare.
Wife scare. I don't think it's going to be too hard now. We're just going to kind of support it and pull it out through that big open thing.
Okay, it's bad. You good?
Yep. It's fitting.
Yay! More of the garage?
Yeah, we're just going to carry it over where your car is parked. Hold it.
I got it. Oh, the leaf there.
Yeah, it's because of those cuts. Set it right there and I'll get out. Hate to break it to you, but you got something on your back.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, that wasn't how I wanted to do it, but
I think that was the slickest way.
yeah, as long as I don't, as long as I don't break the window, putting it back.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, this was an expensive job.
That's true.
But there it is. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's in pretty good shape. Where the visors are, it's a little bad, and that's where that stupid thing is.
Wooden.
Should I put the oak back in?
I'm not a fan of that.
So hopefully you like the fabric we chose.
Yeah.
We'll get to see that soon. I'm going to use Gorilla Tape to clean, or to fix those cuts and tears. But first, I think we have to take all this loose stuff off so the glue actually has something to stick to. But overall, I think it's in pretty good shape.
It really is, for as old as it is.
Thanks for your help.
Sure.
And now it's my turn. Now that the headliner's out, I can get rid of all these extra wires I don't need. Thing. But look at this beautiful work. I mean, this is like top-notch repair work here. This is from the air horn, which I wanted to reseal it and I couldn't get to it because of the nut was behind the headliner. So now will be a good time to take this nut off, clean up these fittings, and kind of make that air horn look a little better and make sure it's working good. And that's the only thing I'm gonna keep that was up in this headliner. So do that and get the fabric on it and put it back in. You can see it's got stuff coming off of it. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I just want to get through that loose top layer. So I'll probably get this is probably a little too rough. Because I don't want to rip that part off. I want to, or maybe I do, I don't know. I just want to get down to where the contact cement that we're going to use will stick to it. So I'll probably start with a nylon brush, and I don't think it's going to take very long. Just get all that loose stuff off of there. Here is the fabric we chose. You saw my Jeep seats. It's kind of like a retro plaid look.
All
I take
American.
this and fold it back to about the halfway point. I guess probably.
We need to make sure it's whole way halfway.
Let's cover this so I don't get any glue on the good part. Like that. Yep. And now this stuff you spray on both surfaces. So we're gonna spray this down, spray the fabric down, you let it dry for about 5 minutes, and then we'll slowly from the middle out try to fit these contours and then do the same thing on the other side.
Okay. That's low.
The ground is low.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll have to make sure we go back to where we see the glue starting to try to peel up. So here it is. We did this half, folded it over, sprayed this half and the back side of the fabric. It's contact cement, so you spray both pieces, you let it tack up, and then you lay it down. So far I'm really liking this stuff. Hermetic's headliner adhesive. Get extra. I just had to run like a half an hour to go buy another one. I would buy 3 and then return what you don't use, because 1 can would not do it properly. My assistants are coming.
Come on, bud.
I think this is definitely a 3-man job or woman job.
Seems to be easiest, yeah.
So. Well, there it is. Now I just have to trim the edges, cut out the dome light thing, and put it back in, and put all the trim up, and wire the light, and put the back window in, and then it's done.
Piece of cake.
This is like a half-hour job on a Sunday afternoon. It's Saturday. Thanks for your help.
Sure. Seth will be waiting for you.
Done. Trimmed out. I got the opening cleaned up for the visors and the dome light. The old hole for the center console thing is gone, and it's nice and tight. If you see some ripples in here, this is molded. This is for where the visors lay down, so it's not a bulge or anything. It actually laid down really good with the help of my wife and son. That made all the difference. I could not have done this by myself. I would have got all kinds of little imperfections. So it's done. I'm gonna let it sit overnight. It says cure time is 24 hours. So I think the longer it sits with gravity helping it instead of pulling on it, the better. And then we'll slide it in through the back window again. And I'm hoping the dome light can kind of hold it there for me. So we'll slide in here, we'll get the dome light screwed in and the visors, and then start with putting the trim up. I think it's going to go in easier than it came out, hopefully. Then once that's in, just hopefully can get the back window in without breaking it, and we'll be done with the interior. So I'm pretty excited, and I think that color, it kind of looks a little funny on camera, but I think it's going to look really good in here with the retro red fuzzy vibes we got going on. Okay, it's the next day. It's cured and feels fully stuck. I have my assistant here, and we're going to bring it in through the back window that's out and hold it up there. We'll get the dome light in and a couple screws, and hopefully don't break it. It's on you.
Oh, great.
Pressure's on. All right, I'm covered in sweat. I cut my finger. Sorry I didn't get the video of it, but it was a little tricky. We got the back window back in with Scarlett's help. Wasn't terribly difficult, but it didn't quite go in how I thought it would, but it's really warm out, and I got that rubber grease stuff all over it, so we got it slid in there. And I think we're good now, so I'm just kind of working these Harbor Freight little nylon spatula things are super handy because you don't want to put any metal tools near this. So I kind of hooked this. Actually, I had to do it from the inside. Anyway, it's in. It wasn't terrible. I think if I did it again, it would be even easier, but kind of hooked this tool around the inside. She kept pushing on the window, and we got it. So now all I have to do is put the locking ring back in the groove and the little corner pieces, and then wash the window because it's an absolute greasy mess. But the headliner's in, this is in. Once I get this done, I can put the 2 corner trim pieces in, and this job is done. So I'm super excited to be done with this and move on to the next thing. So we'll wrap this up and I'll show you how it looks in a minute. Thanks. I'm getting tired. This is a physical job.
Yeah.
So the locking ring, it's going pretty good. I've never done one before, but I watched a guy do it once. Saw a YouTube video. I'm just swapping it up real good, and see which way. It doesn't look like I have it cut in that particular angle. So you just kind of get it started up in there, and I use this tool. You can use your fingers, and it's just a slow process. The guy that did my windshield, he had a little tool that he but I'm just kind of wiggle up, wiggle down. You can start like one edge of it in, and then just kind of work the tool across the bottom. And it pops out every now and then. Just shove it back in. And just don't use a metal tool because you'll either cut the seal or you'll slip and hit the glass. And just work it in. So what I'm doing is I'm starting that top piece in. So can you move over here a little bit? So you see there's like an ear on the top and an ear on the bottom. I'm starting the top, and then I'm just running this tool in like that. And look at that. Then I don't have to push each little piece in.
You'll be here a lot longer.
Yeah. And just don't put too much pressure on it. And it's in. So we'll just either trim that or push it over a little bit and put the corner caps on. Windows in. I'm dirty, it's dirty, but it's in. Headliner's in, windows back in, didn't break anything. So I have 3 pieces of trim left and this job's done. Well, it wasn't easy. It wasn't the worst, but it is done. And I think it turned out pretty good. I need to clean up the trim. I got a lot of fingerprints and stuff on it, but I like it. It matches. I like the white and the fabric matches the trim pretty good. But most importantly, it's not hanging down and raining that nasty foam stuff on me the whole time. There's a few little fuzzies and stuff from cutting things out, but there it is. Got rid of the oak console thingy. Now the visors are the only thing up front. And still need new pillar trim, but I'm not worried about that right now. The rest of the trim is in perfect condition and fit back together nicely. Rear window is a little dirty, but it's in there. Locking ring and the corner trim pieces. If this is the original seal, I'm pretty impressed because it's over 30 years old and it was still very pliable. And the warm weather and that lubricant really helped, but I would definitely just take the back window out. This job was frustrating and much longer and involved than I thought. No one step was difficult, but altogether it's involved. But I would just pull the back window out right out of the gate. If you think your seal's bad, just order a new one and have it on hand. Buy extra cans of that Permatex headliner adhesive so you have it, because that held me up. I had to go get more. So I'd buy 3 cans for a crew cab and maybe take 1 back if you don't need it, and 2 cans for a regular cab. Trying to think what other tips. Oh, the fabric will cover up the holes in your headliner where the trim screws go through, and it's really annoying because it'll want to turn the fabric. So what I did was I took a pair of vice grips, use a nail or some little round piece, and I would heat it up with the torch, line the trim up, and melt it through the fabric and wiggle it around until it drops into that screw hole, if that makes sense. And then it'll kind of burn the fabric in a circle so it won't fray, and then your screw will go through without grabbing the fabric. You're not catching it on fire, it's just warm enough to kind of melt the fabric, but that was an unforeseen pain in the butt that I wasn't planning for with this project. So what I mean is this screw goes through the fabric and you won't be able to see the old hole because the fabric covered it. So I took that hot nail and I melted it through. You're not pushing it through the trim, just through the fabric. And I was able to get all the screws. Not everyone did that, but anywhere the headliner came down past the hole. So that was till I figured it out, that was a pain because I didn't want to rip my fabric. So that's it. It's a weekend project for me. An interior person can probably do it in a couple hours, but I was trying to be really careful and reuse every screw and not break the foam, and I let it cure overnight and things like that. But a regular cab pickup, I think it'd be a couple hours, but the crew cab, it's definitely challenging. Have help. I ended up needing 3 people to lay the fabric down, and my daughter, Scarlett, helped me put the back window back in. So have a couple friends over, have fun, and let me know how your projects go if you do a headliner. So thanks for watching. I'm done. I'm pooped. Heading in. Thanks. We'll talk to you later.